Hello, everyone. Welcome to our very informal. This is very informal. We want to feel like we're right here with you. And Dr. Alicia and I love to go back and forth and to educate and share the excitement of all of this. My name is Holly Demott, and I am joining you from my home in Arizona. And Dr. Alicia Clevenger, who is on with me an hour later than me, she is joining you from her home in the suburbs of Des Moines, Iowa.
Hello, glad to be here. I'm excited to dive in today.
So if you hear kids in the background, they're her kids.
They're my
They're
children,
her,
or my puppy, or my
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Right. It's always chaos around here, but we
If
make
you
it
hear
work,
my
right?
dog, it's a dog. Yeah. So this is life. And that's one of the things we love about this business is you do it from home, you do it from pockets of your time, pockets of your day, and you could really do it from anywhere. So we are unapologetically great with not apologizing for life. I think that's
Right.
part of it. And speaking of life, with lifestyle, what we've experienced over the last 3 weeks has been absolutely phenomenal with our new natural GLP product. And one thing that speaks loud and clear, Dr. Alicia, is that so many people have struggled. They've struggled. They've beat themselves up, whether it's an autoimmune with like not being able to release weight, or it's they do everything perfect. They're eating the perfect diet. They're following this diet or this diet. They're paying money for that, or they're not paying money, and then they aren't seeing the results, or it's just so hard to get results. It's an uphill battle. And
Right.
what
It
we've
is.
been hearing it from, I mean, personally, I've experienced it. I know Dr. Alicia's experienced it, and we're hearing it now from so many people that
Yeah.
they want hope.
Absolutely. And I think we've all been there. I think for a long time, especially as a woman, I'll be 48 years old. And, I think there's people who think, well, I'm trying, that it's always been, move more, eat less. That's always what people have been told. And there's just it's just not right. There's such a missing link there. I'd love to tell you that that's the way it is. And I think that, 50, 60 years ago, I think there was something to that. But we've changed. And, at a cellular level, we've changed. Our foods aren't the same. Our stress isn't the same. Our sleep isn't the same. All the things, the pharmaceuticals, like all the things we have done, we really have been set up for like a metabolic issue. And so, that's what I really love to dive into. I really want people to understand how this is so much more in than weight loss. Metabolic issues are so much more. The benefit of it is that when you regulate your metabolism, one of the bonuses is you do lose weight, right? So people are losing weight with this product, but they're doing so much more, whether it's their cardiovascular health, all the parts and pieces of their systems, because there's some keys here that once people realize how this works, they're like, they have the aha moment of now I get why people are having so many great changes. So I'm excited to dive in. I'll tell you, it's been just almost 3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. And since I started taking it, I'm down 6 pounds. I had about 12 to 15 that I wanted to lose. And I am one of those people that to even move the needle on the scale, like it's everything. Like to move my scale actually, I think I've told you this through the past year, Holly. I think my scale was broken, right? Like since last February, I have not been able to get it to move, and it wasn't broken. And now I know that. But one of the great things I've noticed is, all the good side effects you hear about, the good things you hear about with GLP, that's what I've noticed. I'm eating less. I feel full faster. All that food noise is gone. Like I was telling somebody today, I can make a whole meal for my family. I'm not like picking at the food, right? I'm not taking bites along the way. I just sit down and eat. Even today, I made my lunch, and I am a creature of habit. I eat the same lunch a lot, right? And I sat down to eat it, and I thought, I didn't even eat half the soup. I didn't even eat and make a half of a sandwich. I didn't even eat half of it. And, like for me, that's what is happening right now, right? Like, and so that adds up. I feel full faster. And so I just know, oh, all this stuff that I've been doing since I tried to fit in my prom dress when I was 17 years old to mess with my metabolism, I feel like I'm finally righting the wrong.
hmm I know years and years later, we're finding
Right.
this
All
out.
these years later. Uh-huh.
I
Right.
know. I feel, with recently I've been, paying attention. Mine's only, it'll be a week Friday,
Yeah.
and with using the GLP. And what I've noticed, so you guys, I love Zevia.
Yeah.
So if you've heard of Zevia, it's like $13 a 12 pack because I'm like, wow, I'm not buying it. Like this is
Right.
great. I am not craving it. I'm not needing it. Like, wow. And I have, I've been working out too. I'm going to keep my regular routine. And with eating, I find that when I eat, I'm satisfied and I'm not wanting to eat after that. So I have finished most of my meals with the healthy stuff. I noticed like I had a hamburger and fries the other night and I like ate maybe a third of the fries and I didn't want any more. So definitely helping to change what I'm craving for my body. I finished the hamburger. It's interesting. And
Right.
so it's neat.
I love hearing about all the people whose cravings have changed, right? We have a gal we know, Diana, who, she's been drinking Diet Pepsi for 40 years, multiple a day. She hasn't had a Diet Pepsi since she started this a few weeks ago. Now, the people that say, hey, I have a little glass of wine every night and I actually don't even want it anymore. Like, we have somebody who's told us that she keeps candy in her purse all the time. The gummy candy, high sugar candy. She's like, I don't even keep it in there anymore. I'm not craving the candy. She's like, her candy crush is gone, right? And so that's been fun to hear. And that has to do with the dopamine receptors and the addiction process of that. But yeah, it's so fun to hear people think, wow, like this is really changing for me. And you're right, Holly. It gives people hope. Like it
Yeah.
makes people feel like maybe I'm not broken. It's not a willpower problem. For so long, we've been told it's a willpower problem, and it's really
Yeah.
not.
I have my mom and sister flying to Arizona from the Midwest. They're getting
Hmm.
out of the Midwest for a little bit and
Yep.
they're coming down. And usually I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to eat out. Oh no. Like, because I've always had to be really strict. Not that
Yeah.
it was working for me all the time. And this time I feel so awesome about it. I'm like, you know what? This is gonna be nice to just enjoy and not worry that I'm gonna be gaining weight. In fact, I'm gonna be
Right.
losing weight. So
Right.
that's a
Absolutely.
big deal because that's quality time with family that I don't have to stress them out because they're going to be like,
Right.
"What diet is Holly on now?" Because that's
What are
that's a
you avoiding now, Holly?
trust me, my family's been there with me, and so this is such a relief. And they're doing the GLP too also, and so it's a family affair. Okay, we're gonna jump into it, you guys. Enough about us. Let's get into it. Dr. Alicia is going to cover, the problem and get really some background so you can really understand how this GLP wave came about and why we're
Right.
here.
Right. So you might be here and be thinking, I want exactly what they just said. And that's awesome. Like, I want that for you. Right. But there are people on here who are like, I want to know why. Like, why do I have this problem? How is this going to help me? And what does this look like for me? And so we're going to like rewind a minute back to the problem. So, you look at a beach in 1970 and you look at a beach now and people just look different. Right. And they didn't go find a beach in 2025 with thousands of people that don't have willpower, right? So what shifted, right? Well, our body shifted. So we are in a spot where we have this little receptor in our body, and I'm going to talk about it here in a minute. And that little receptor is very important. It has to do with the whole cycle of us being able to eat and feel satisfied and what blood sugar does. And so that has been damaged. And what has damaged it, right? Well, we have a world of foods that aren't real, right? High fructose corn syrup is actually one of the biggest culprits for people. High fructose corn syrup damages receptor, hydrogenated oils, all the chemicals in our food, pharmaceuticals, lack of sleep, high stress, like our modern life, right? And so we've damaged this receptor. And so all of a sudden, if unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of GLP-1, you've heard of GLPs, right? Like this is a wave, and people are starting to hear about it. And the question is, why? Like, why is this helping so many people lose weight? People are like, is it magic? Like, is it cheating? No, it's not magic and cheating. It's giving the receptor what it needs. And until now, there's only been a synthetic way to do it. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this. So on the next slide, you're going to see a cycle. And I just want to talk about like what happens, okay? So when we eat, especially carbs or sugar, maybe not the cabbage you see on here, right? Like cabbage maybe didn't get us into this mess. But when you eat that, here's what happens. You went and ate your dinner. So maybe you're just jumping on here and you just finished your dinner, and all of a sudden what happens? Your blood sugar starts to go up. Okay. And so your blood sugar starts to go up and your body releases something called insulin. And that insulin is meant to help get the sugar into your body. It's meant to get your sugar into the cells of your body. And so that is good in theory, right? But here's what's happened. We have actually damaged the little doorway to get the sugar into the cells. Okay, so I'm going to go through this cycle and then I'm going to give you something that we'll just hammer at home. So what's happened is it's getting harder with all those things we talked about, our modern life, to get that sugar into the cell. So it's actually made it resistant to insulin. And you may have heard this term, insulin resistance, right? You're having a hard time with getting the sugar into the cell. So what happens is that sugar starts to build up in the bloodstream. Okay. So it stays in the bloodstream and started going into the cell. And actually what it does is it stores as fat. It stores in the fat, it turns into fat, like all of a sudden you've got that. And so what happens? Well, you don't feel great. You feel tired, you feel foggy, and guess what else you feel? You feel hungry. And so it creates this cycle of constantly being fed, and it's hard to get out of. So if you'll give me just a minute to like just bear with me, we're gonna if you're here for just like I want to know what this is, just stay with me. If you're like I need to know how this works, this is the time. Okay. So imagine a house. You have a little house, okay? And outside of the house are a whole bunch of little packages, okay? And inside the house are these little rooms. And the goal is to get the packages through the door of the house and into the rooms. The packages are the sugar, the doorway is the door to the cell, and the inside the rooms, those are the cells. So the goal is to get the sugar to the cells so your body can do what it's supposed to do. That's what we want to happen. That's ideal. But remember, we all have a damaged doorway. That's why we have so many metabolic issues in this country. And it's not just weight. It's high blood pressure, high cholesterol, PCOS. We're going to hit on that here in a minute. Okay, so we all have this damaged doorway. Okay? And the doorway actually, believe it or not, we'll talk about it in a minute. Don't go to the slide yet, but we're going to talk about it. The doorway actually looks like a green pepper. The receptor looks like a green pepper. So we're trying to get the sugar through the doorway and into the house. It's damaged. It can't get there. So what they figured out is, I think we can go to the next slide and we'll kind of go through that. Okay, so there's your little green pepper, okay? And what we have figured out, so the inside of the cell right there, that's the inside. Those are the rooms. And the outside, that's where the sugar is. And you've got your little green pepper. You guys, for those who have seen me before, I've had these rotten green peppers all over, and I finally got plastic green peppers. They came yesterday from Amazon. So now I'm like full of all these green peppers in my office, and it's awesome. No more rotten, smelly green peppers. Okay, so we have this little receptor, and it looks just like that little green pepper on the screen. So here's what they discovered, that there's something called GLP-1, a glucagon-like peptide. It's a little string of amino acids. Your gut actually makes it when it's healthy and good, but again, we're not in the healthy and good spot. And so what it happens is it actually comes down and it lands on the receptor. And when it does that, the little sugar packages actually, it's like a lock and a key, and it shuttles it. This whole little reaction happens, and the sugar can actually get through, and the body can go back to doing its job. So there's no more eat, spike, crash, and repeat. You actually eat, spike, do its job, and get those little packages into the cell. So all of a sudden, instead of the sugar sitting in the bloodstream and turning to fat and make you feel yucky, it's actually going through and we're getting the packages delivered right to the cells into the little rooms, and everybody's happy and you feel full faster. Your blood sugars go down quicker. You don't have that hangry feeling, like all that stuff that leads to more insulin resistance and issues. So up until now, we have only had this synthetic way of hitting the receptor. And you've heard of it. You've heard of the semaglutides. You've heard of the injectables. You've heard of the tirzepatides, the things people are injecting in. And that's what it is. GLP lands on the receptor until now. And now we have something natural. It was only a matter of time before somebody figured that out, that you can actually take something natural. We have a blend of 267 peptides that actually lands on the cell, lands on that green pepper. Okay, so here's the problem. When that synthetic lands on the green pepper, it's kind of like the way a bowling ball lands on a bounce house. When it lands, it's very aggressive. It's aggressive. It hits receptors around it. It's like, imagine it, like a bowling ball landing on a bounce house. That's why people get the side effects they do. That's where the side effects are from. And the side effects are numerous, right? So what if we had a way to land on there and have it be gentle, like a ping pong ball landing on a green pepper? Well, that's gentle. And that's why people aren't getting the side effects. And what is this natural thing? That's the next slide. MVC 267, it's a blend of natural peptides found from fish and salmon. Or fish, fish is salmon, you guys. It's found from salmon and mushrooms, and it's a blend. It's oral. There's no injections. People are losing weight. They're losing up to 10% of body mass in the first 60 days. They're lowering their blood sugars. They've got studies that show we're lowering blood sugars by about 6% in the first 60 days. It's helping with food cravings. Here's what's really cool. A lot of the synthetic GLPs, the reason people think it's because of the fast weight loss that people lose muscle mass. It's not. It's part of it, but part of it is some of the other aggressiveness that it has on those receptors. So this actually preserves lean muscle mass because it's so gentle when it lands on there. There's no muscle mass loss. So you guys, for those of you who don't know how important that is, if you want to shave years off your life, lose your muscle mass. Muscle mass is the key to longevity. You have to have muscle. And so when people are losing it that way, like you have to keep up with that. And a lot of people aren't, and it's really hard. It's hard to keep up with that. And then if you're new to Three, welcome. We're an absorption company. Everything we do here is about high absorption products, really getting high absorption, getting things into the cell so they actually work. Because the truth is this, you can take the greatest ingredient on the planet, and if you don't absorb it, it doesn't matter. So this actually is able to bypass, it stays in the system 24 to 48 hours, so it's not getting degraded. It's the same mechanism of action as the synthetics. It's just natural. So people aren't getting side effects. It's awesome. That's why people are just absolutely loving this. So this is Mother Nature's GLP-1. It is, people aren't getting the nausea. They're not getting the stomach symptoms. I talked to a guy last night who said, I was taking the synthetics and he's like, I had heartburn so bad, I had to quit. He's like, I couldn't function. He's like, I felt like I was having a heart attack all the time because of the heartburn. So, I mean, that's huge for him, right? It is all these natural peptides, and it really doesn't get any better than that, and the high absorption. So that is our product. It's awesome. It's easy to take. Holly, can you hold up your bottle? I'm realizing my bottle's across the room, so I can't get up and go get it. So it's a little bottle. You open it up and it's like an orange liquid, and the orange color comes from that saffron. It's super easy to take. You take it under the tongue. So we'll go through that a little bit. Obviously, these FAQs, that's what people are looking for. They want to know, like, now you know why, you need to feed your receptor. I truly believe there will come a time now that you realize, well, wait a minute, if this receptor is damaged, wouldn't I want to feed it regularly? Like, wouldn't I want to give it what it needs? Wouldn't I want that? And so many people will ask us that. They'll say, do I have to take this forever? Well, we're not seeing rebound effect. The studies are not showing rebound weight gain. You don't want to go back to eating cheeseburgers and tacos. We don't want to go back to what got us here, right? But when you really think about it, it's almost like a multivitamin for your metabolism, right? Like it's feeding it. And I've been known to say the past few weeks, have you fed your green pepper today? Like, but it's a joke, but it's really true. Because once you understand metabolic health and that we have these little damaged receptors, it's like, I want to feed them. So that's really the science behind it, Holly. Um,
Hmm.
it is people are doing all those things. They're feeling great. They're not having side effects. People are having a ton of energy. I'm hearing a lot of that. So what's the dosage? For weight loss, the clinical study was 3/4 of a dropper under the tongue 2 times a day, about 30 to 45 minutes before a meal. I want to address that really quickly because we've been getting asked this. The 30 to 45 minutes before a meal is important because that's when the concentration is going to be highest. Everything you take has like a peak concentration that stays in your body. So we want to do it before a meal because, well, we're going to eat. And if the goal is to maybe eat a little less, that's when the concentration is highest. What if you're fasting? Totally okay. Holly's a faster. You'll never catch me fasting. So we're different. So, but it doesn't break a fast. And I actually haven't been taking it that way because for me, I eat meals at different times of the day, right? I'm busy with my kids. So I take it when I get up in the morning and I take it mid-afternoon before my kids come home from school because that's when I find I'm kind of snack if that's typically when I'm snacky. I haven't been anymore, but that's what. So for me, that's what works. Uh,
Hmm.
so you see, but if you have to find what works for you, but 30 to 45 minutes before a meal is ideal under the tongue, um, and let it sit, and then you can drink all the water a little bit later. You don't want to dilute it in anything. That's a question we're getting frequently. Can I dilute it? No, you wouldn't like put it in your water to dilute it that way. So it said weight loss, and you're thinking, well, this is more than weight loss. Yes, go Google metabolic issues. It'll come up. It is type 2 diabetes, inflammation, heart disease, fatty liver, which is rampant in that country, in our country. People think fatty liver is from fat. It's actually not. Abdominal fat, that weight in the belly, that visceral fat, that's the dangerous fat, the one you don't want. High blood pressure, high blood sugars, high cholesterol, insulin resistance, PCOS. Like the list goes on and on. This is just a snapshot of what insulin resistance and what this issue causes. So yeah, you can start to see it. It's quite a bit.
Hmm.
So
And that's when we're hearing just results of people sleeping better, people saying their mental clarity, their energy. It's so much more than weight loss. So much more. I mean, people have visceral fat. You've heard the term skinny fat, where people
yeah.
look completely healthy on the outside. And then you're like, well, why would they have any type of, health struggles? Look at them. They work out, and visceral fat is real. So this is definitely something well beyond the weight loss piece of it.
Yeah.
And we have more
Well,
questions.
we have people taking it that actually don't have weight to lose, right? Because it's not just about that. People are taking it for the inflammation. People are taking it when you learn about all the things that receptor does, you want the less inflammation, you want the increased bone density, you want like all those things are so good. It's beyond weight loss. And so then you really start to see it. It starts to click. So I love to,
Mhm.
let's go through some of these questions, Holly.
Yeah. So, how much can you take? Well, it's all natural, so there's no need to worry about taking too much. You'll find your formula and you'll just listen to your body with that. If you're like, hey, I'm doing great with two, three-fourths of a dropper, amazing. If you're like, you know what, I still have some of that food noise, you may add a little bit more. Everybody's different. Everybody's different with that. You do take it 30 minutes before a meal or as desired. So, like Dr. Alicia said, I am a faster. So today, I looked at the time. I didn't eat till 2:45. And and Dr. Lee should be like, no way. So I love intermittent fasting. I love fasting, and this makes it so easy because you're not even thinking about that. And so that's a big plus for people that it doesn't break a fast. That's a really big deal. It contains peptides. Yes, it does. Peptides are hot, and I'm a peptide girl. I love peptides. That whole world, and to have this natural peptide is a really big deal. A natural peptide that outperforms a semaglutide, really. I mean, I've heard stories of people. I had yesterday I was on a call, and I heard from the wife of a gentleman, and he was on a semaglutide for a good 6 months, and he did lose weight. He did lose it. he she said it's like we lost, our husband and our dad and our family though. She's like, because he was on the couch, he was tired, he was nauseous. So he went off of it because he didn't feel well. That was his experience. Not everybody has that experience. I understand that. And so he started this, and he's already down over 10 pounds in the first 13 days. And I'm like, wow. And of course, this is a much easier thing for him to do than what he was doing with the side effects not being there with this. Are the ingredients natural? That's one more thing you'll learn about three. Absolutely. There's no synthetic ingredients, flavors, colors, binders, fillers, or maskers. Natural is the way to go. Dr. Dan Gubler is an organic chemist. So you'll find him out searching all different types of plants. He loves medicinal molecules, and he'll scour the earth for them. And that's one of the what we have right here is a byproduct of what he's done. What are the key ingredients? Well, we have the MBC 267 peptides, flavonoids from hops. And Dr. Alicia, we've talked about the hops because some people are like, well, wait a minute, is this gluten free? Because don't hops have gluten?
They don't in their natural state. It is something that happens later on down the road with the processing. So in their natural state, hops don't have gluten, so this is gluten-free. It has the saffron is what gives it that really vibrant yellow color, and there's some ginseng in there, and so it tastes like oranges. That's a common question. They say orange mint, and some people say orange mint. I don't really taste the mint. I think it tastes kind of like an orange dreamsicle kind of thing, like a orange. It's just orange to me, but some people say it tastes minty, and I heard somebody say the other day orange vanilla. I don't know. So everybody's a little bit different.
And
Um,
I have heard with whether it's teenagers or um, adults that have more of a very picky palate with taste. I have heard of people putting it in their own capsules and taking it. So,
oh yeah,
I mean, I love
yeah,
the taste. I mean,
yeah.
so yeah, just know there's always that alternative as well.
Right. So for somebody, sometimes we get a thing, somebody say, well, I already take the injections. If they're working for you and that's great, but you're looking for a natural option, like this is something you would want to talk to your provider about, the person that would be prescribing those for you. I love that this gives people that natural option. We say, so break it down in case you just joined us. The bottom line is this. When you have this, when you have the receptor, this binds to the exact same receptor as the synthetics. It has the same mechanism of action. Lets the sugar go into the cell, unlocks the door. It's just one synthetic, and so it's aggressive on the receptor, and that's the side effects, and one is gentle. And so people are still losing weight with both. They're still having the all the positive effects, but one's natural, one's not. One's injectable, one's oral. So this gives people that option. It's non-GMO, it's very clean, just like everything we have here. No hormones, very pristine waters. Everything is really awesome. So it's awesome to have it.
And one thing I'll add with, it being a peptide, and many people in the peptide world will say there's no way you can take an oral.
Mhm.
The gut will destroy it. And, that's one of the main reasons why people are attracted to three is because of the delivery technologies, what that Dr. Dan Gubler is an absolute expert with.
Yeah.
And so he uses, what is it, 13 or 14, Dr. Alicia,
Yeah,
delivery
different
technologies?
absorption technologies, right? And for people that really want to get sciencey, which Holly will be like, "Why'd you go that sciencey?" But I'll tell you, um, there's something that breaks down, or when you take it orally, it's called DPP4.
Hmm.
But DPP4 is molecular structure, molecular sequence specific, and this is a different molecular sequence, so it actually doesn't break this down. So for people that really know science or like it gets broken down by the gut, not this one. It's a different molecular sequence, so it does not. That's a huge advantage we've got here.
Y'all are getting a lot
That's
tonight,
a
and
lot of science. I haven't
we,
done that at all, but you kind of led me there, so I
I did.
kind of had to go
It's,
there.
and I
Yeah.
think it's important because we did get that question first off. We really
Yeah,
did. Is
absolutely.
this intellectual property? Yes, it is. It's protected by patents surrounding our NBC 267 complex, our trade secret curation process, and the cellular absorption technologies. You better believe it's intellectual property because everybody wants this. People would copy this if they could figure it out. Does GLP-3 have beneficial effects on blood sugar and blood insulin levels? Yes, and we've seen that. We've seen people that were CGMs. We've seen them track it. We've already seen that in the study. It lowered blood sugar levels by 6% and improved the effectiveness of insulin in the body. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Even my sister, one of them, her A1C isn't at the level that we would like to see it at, and she'd like to see it at. And I said, give it 90 days
Mhm.
to my sister Jules. I said, give it 90 days. Stick with it 90 days because that's what you need to retest that. And
Right.
she's on board. She's doing that. And I cannot wait to see her results when that comes out. Is it
Yeah.
safe for teenagers to take? Yes. It's designed for individuals ages 12 and up. We love to do that. And you know what? Some people asked about the teenagers and such, and it's I've had my nieces and nephews ask me if they could take it. And it could be simple, their metabolism, their metabolic health. It could be energy for the gym. It doesn't necessarily have to be the weight loss piece of it. I mean, think about the junk they eat. Think about school lunches. Think about how their receptor is being damaged. Think about the high fructose corn syrup. I mean, on and on and on. The drinks out there. So, absolutely, for 12 and up. I feel happier. Dr. Alicia, I feel happier after taking GLP-3. Is that normal?
It is here because I will tell you, I have, first of all, I'm like the Energizer Bunny since I started. And I told Holly this the other day, like I'm just like nonstop all day and I sleep hard at night. But a lot of people have said when they did it, like 75% of people right out of the gate said it noticed an improvement in mood within an hour. It
Mhm.
actually does increase endorphins, which kind of makes sense when, especially when you talked about that gentleman earlier, you were like, he, just didn't feel great. Well, this is a big thing. Why? Like this actually increases endorphins. So there, it's not the same as fish oil. You don't have to, you still are going, yes, you still have to take your omegas. So you still have to take your Vitalite packet and get your omegas in your body. But, and then we talked about that. The saffron is from that yellow in color. So yeah,
So I am not drinking wine, just in case. This is charcoal water. And I know Dr. Alicia may have seen it being like, is Holly drinking wine?
are we
If
drinking
you're
water on this call?
if you're drinking wine at home, go for it. I mean, I love my charcoal water. I don't always drink it, but it's dark, so it may look like wine in a wine glass. This
Right.
clinical study, this
Oh, I
is a
love
big
it.
deal.
It
She
is.
loves it. I love it. I'm gonna have her cover it, and
Right. So
I'll
this
run and
talks
show you the
about,
graphs.
yeah, so she's going to kind of take the arrow. So this talks about the activation of that receptor. Okay. And so it looks at some different things. So it looks how are different things affecting the receptor? How are things affecting the green pepper? Okay. So the three on the right, that's terzepatide. You've probably heard about it like Monjoro and things like that. The three on the right, that's how they're activating there. That's how they're activating that receptor. I'm not going to go into all the pancreas and the beta cells and all that kind of thing. It's pretty good, but some of those are pretty high doses. The three next to that, light pink, mauve, and gray, those are semaglutide. So those are Ozempic. Okay. If you go all the way over to the other side with me on the yellow that one, that's NBC 267. So you can see it's hitting that receptor better than the semaglutide. So it's outperforming that. And that is absolutely awesome. I love that part of it. So,
So
so that I love this study. It really backs up what we're saying that we're not just like increasing your own GLP. Like a lot of people are like, well, there are starting to be a lot of products out there that say, like, we help stimulate your own GLP. And actually, that's great. We have two of them too, but they do get broken down really quickly. This is different. It's actually hitting that same receptor, and this backs that up, which is awesome. For a science nerd like me, that's awesome. So these are the packs. I'll let Holly go through these and I'll probably jump in here in a minute because I want to talk about Purify.
absolutely. So we love to share the packs because it does break it down per bottle. I'm going to share that with you guys. One bottle is $75 wholesale. So that's wholesale, $85 retail. And the essential pack all the way on the right, that's a $25 savings for three. So for the weight loss piece of it, you're going to need at least three, most likely four bottles a month. And so we're just up front. We're learning the dosages. I know Dr. Darren Mazeppa out in Pennsylvania today, he was like, okay, I just finished my first bottle and I'm down 8 pounds for my first bottle. And I'm like, I love that. I love that he can like
Uh-huh.
measure and there's so many other benefits that he's talking about. Wow. That
You
his
can see it
sleep,
in
his
his face.
inflammation, is energy, like so much. So, but it was neat. You could put he could like understand that with his first bottle. And so 3 to 4 bottles is what we do recommend for the weight loss piece of it. Going into the other packs, the complete and advantage pack, how they're packaged, the bottles end up being about $66.67. So 66, $67, six or seven. Okay, $66.67. And that's how much it is a bottle. So definitely a savings. You're looking at, a pretty good, almost a $9 savings per bottle for those packs. And then you're also getting the Purify. And that's what I want Dr. Alicia to cover when we talk about, detoxing and the
Right.
importance of that when your metabolic health is improving. And especially if you're looking at, hey, fat loss piece of it, why would we want Purify?
Yeah. So I love that they paired this with this. It is the perfect pair. So imagine driving your car around, and while you're driving around, somebody's throwing trash in your gas tank, right? Your car's not going to work as well. It's not working at its optimum potential. And so we have all that. We have this toxin stored in our fat. We have just toxins in our body from the foods we eat and things we put on our skin to the air we breathe. It's there. And so all of a sudden, our body's going to start getting rid of fat. And we want to make sure those detox pathways are nice and clear. What I love about Purify, it's a gentle daily detox. It's not like I have to be near the bathroom. I love to take one every night before bed, and it just clears that out. Lung, liver, kidney, colon, skin. It helps get rid of the excess junk so that you work better. When the liver is congested, you actually it help your body has trouble actually releasing fat, right? And so it just helps clear all of that out and make your body work so much more efficiently. It's like cleaning out the gas tank that somebody's throwing the trash in. So you work better. You're working more optimum speed and potential, which is awesome. And it's so gentle, but really effective. It's very, very high absorption product.
Really an amazing product every single night.
Yeah.
And when Dr. Alicia, when you've said that you haven't taken this because she ran out recently,
Well,
and
everybody
she noticed it.
everybody's stealing it from me because they all want to try it. And they're waiting. It's shipping now. It's reship. Everything's shipping. Everything's good. You can go order tonight and it's shipping tomorrow right away. Here's the thing. People knew they wanted to take it with this and they were getting it and they're like, oh, I want to try that Purify. And all of a sudden I had none. So I went like 3 or 4 days and I was like, there is no way. I love this too much. I could tell in it helps with inflammation. It helped like you feel less puffy, less bloated, my less brain fog. It's just so good.
It is good. So you get 4 free Purify with that complete pack. You get 2 free Purify with the Advantage pack. So those are extras on top of getting the bottles for almost $9 less than what they normally would be. So those are great packs, whether it's all for you or you're sharing it. My 15 pack is over here, and I love the Purify that's with it because it's something I'll never go without at all. And
Yeah.
so that is so much of the education piece of it when it comes to GLP. And I'm going to turn it over and talk a little bit more about the business side of it because Dr. Alicia, we always talk the business because this has been a game changer. I know for yourself and the thousands of people that were open to taking a look at the marketing plan.
Right. And so, it's one of those things where we built a big business based off the simple six, right? There they are, the things we started with, right? They're always in my background. It's like Vanna. But we did. So when they introduced this has just been a game changer. We still love our simple six. But when my background, I'm a chiropractor. I've been a chiropractor almost 25 years. I have a specialty in pediatrics and nutrition. And I walked away from full-time practice about 10 years ago because I was burnt out. And, when I was introduced to this industry and this company just a few years back, I thought if these products work the way they say they do, like people are going to want these. And I know supplements. I mean, I've been doing supplements for 25 years. And so I jumped in and I noticed a huge difference right out of the gate. That's the absorption piece. And so I thought, I'm going to tell everybody I know. And off we went and built a big business, been able to replace that old chiropractic income. But when I jumped into this, I was introduced to Holly and I knew her track record. She had a track record, a multiple seven-figure earner at another company, and she walked away from it to come here and be here and be a part of what we've got. And I thought, I want to listen to this. Like I was open that day because of that. And the supplements came along with it. And I will often say I came for the products and I stayed for the business. And here we are doing this. And so I'm excited for her to be able to share with you her story and really just listen to and be open to how she got here and where we're going. So I'm excited for her to share with
Where
you.
we're going. I know. Okay, yes. I love to share about our platform that we're in. I have a corporate background. I came from corporate America. I came from the second largest bank in the world, and I loved my job. I always share that with people. I did it for 8 years and I moved different cities, and I love the people I worked with. What I didn't love though, and that contrast really helped me to understand it. I didn't love, working 65 hours a week on and not getting paid anymore for it. I didn't love when the economy got a little rough, there was no bonuses and there was no raises. I didn't love that I could spend weekdays with my family. I love family and being with my parents back then. And I had that aha moment, and I was introduced to this platform, which was a whole new world to me. They didn't teach this in college. They didn't. And so when I was introduced to this, I'm like, this exists? And so when I was laid off, so in the United States, we ran into a really large financial crisis. Probably started in 2007. I lived it in the corporate world. In 2008, 2009, I was laid off. One out of 8,000 people laid off in a day, with the mortgage crisis and housing. And when that happened, thank goodness I already had this in place. It was with my first company, and I went to work. I didn't love what I saw always in this space, and I'm always very honest about that. I didn't love what I saw. And I thought, you know what, though? I love the opportunity of this, and that I could be in charge and have time freedom. I could work wherever I want to work. I just loved the whole idea. I had no ceiling on my income. And I decided to learn this, and I learned it. And I knew if I did this with integrity, if I did this with confidence, if I did this with class, I knew that what this could be. And that's what happened. And you like attracts like, and so you end up attracting people in with the same. And as much as I loved doing that first company, there was things that absolutely shifted that had me looking a different way. So it was just a little incongruent for me with products. I love the sourcing and the purity and all that, and not to get into details, but I made the decision to exit. And when I was offered to link arms with our CEO, Daniel Piku, our formulator and chief science officer, Dr. Dan Gubler, Kim Wee, Samson Lee, when that partnership and many entrepreneurs from all over the world who came together for this, it was a absolute yes. It was a yes, yes, yes. Like this is a dream. This is a dream to work with people with this experience with the Dr. Dan Gubler. And here we are. We're almost 3 years in. The company was founded February. We did our pre-launch in 2023, so we're almost 3 years. So if you have just heard of three, there's a reason for that. We're still young, and it's great because take that as a gift, saying I'm so happy that I heard about this company early. And I heard about this company that has this product line of the Simple Six, but product line of GLP that's exploding. It's exploding. So yes, we have it in North America. People are getting their shipments. It is coming to Asia. It is. It's on its way. It's on its way. So we're excited for the Asia market to start experiencing what we are. And I love what we do here. I love the business. I love introducing it to people. I love plugging them into the simple systems. And I'll just kind of get straight to it before we end this. There's decisions that you make, and for me, this was a gut decision. It was a decision where I knew I wanted more in my life because I kind of got a little dull when I wasn't living out my purpose, and I was in that, I had a ceiling and all that, and I didn't feel good. And I love the feeling of hope. Who doesn't? The hope of health, the hope of time freedom and travel and financial flexibility, those things. That lifts you up. Your energy explodes. People can tell like something's different about you. And that's what this has given me. And I love giving that back. And so if you're listening tonight for the first time and you got on to hear about the GLP, we love it that you got on. If now you're thinking, what if this was for me? I want that hope. I want to, what if I didn't make more money? What if you had an additional stream of income coming in? I always say this. I go, I don't know anyone who doesn't want more money in their bank account. I don't. And it's fun when we have people already sharing GLP, and they haven't even gotten their bottle yet or their products, and they're already sharing it, and then they look at their pay and they're like, I already got paid. Like I haven't even tried it, and here I am, and I'm starting people. So you guys, this is absolutely rewarding. It's exciting. We welcome you to the world of three, whether it's simply to use the products and not even tell a soul, or you're coming in and you're like, absolutely, I want to experience this, and you want to plug in. We're here for you. So welcome, and we appreciate all of you taking the time to join, and have an amazing night. Thank you, everyone.